Okay, you guys, so I figured out something cool yesterday, and I thought I would share it with you. So, the hood on my car, I just kind of slapped this thing together when I put the car together just so I could drive it or whatever. And I bolted the hood on, and I had the hinges just pushed like all the way down. There's like two bolts on them. There's a front and a back one that bolts on the side of the fender. I'll show you here in a minute. But I adjusted it just all the way down, and it was okay in the front. And I don't really have a way to show you how it used to be, but the back right here, where it meets the fender, it used to stick up above the fender probably at least 3/8 of an inch, or if not more. And it looked kind of, it looked crappy. It looked bad, right? Because the hood was just sticking up. But I was at a swap meet yesterday out at the drag strip, and I was showing my car to my buddy, and his father-in-law was there. He checked out the hood, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like you just have to loosen the bolt on the back and like move it up, and all this different stuff." So I was like, "Okay, that sounds weird." But let me open the hood here and kind of show you what happened. All right, so we're under the hood here, so let me just show you what's going on. So your hinge, the hood bolts on up here. There's two bolts for the hood itself, and then on the actual hinge where it bolts to the fender, there's two bolts, a front and a back one there. So what my friend's father-in-law actually said to do was loosen this back bolt and then push the hinge like all the way up, because there's actually kind of a slot in it. I don't know if you can see that too well, but he said move that one all the way up, maybe move this one down a little bit. And I was like, oh, well, isn't that just going to raise it up higher? And he's like, well, that sounds counterintuitive, but no, it won't. So when I got home, I actually tried it, and it did actually just make the back of the hood sit up higher. So that didn't work, but I kind of sat back and looked at it for a minute, thought about it, and I actually figured out what to do. So what I actually did was I loosened the rear bolt, and I pushed it all the way down as far as it would go. So the bracket, I had to whack it with a hammer even, but you can maybe lean the hood. If you push up on the hood a little bit, it's kind of heavy, but I got it to go to where the bolt is all the way at the top of the slot. So the hinge is pushed down as far as it'll go on the back one. And then on the front, I moved it to where I slid it so it was like up. Like I moved it up, right? So loosen this and move this up. Okay, so I had to lift kind of on the hood a little bit to get it to move. But I did that, and then the hood actually ended up sitting below the fender. So it moved it like way down. So then I was on the right track there. So then all I had to do, I had to go to the other side, did the same thing. I loosened the back bolt, pushed the hinge all the way down, and then I just kind of loosened the front one and moved it up a little bit so it's kind of in the middle of the slot, tightened it back up, and I shut the hood, and it was still kind of like almost too low now, which was awesome because I thought maybe my hinges were just sprung or something was worn out or whatever, and it wouldn't actually fit right anymore. I thought I was going to have to get new hinges, but if you actually just loosen that rear bolt, I pushed it all the way down, and then this front bolt, if you kind of loosen that and just move it, like kind of adjust that up and down, it'll adjust the height on the back of your hood. So I just kind of adjusted that up and down a little bit right there until it sat flush with the fender, and it worked perfectly fine. So then the only other thing I had to do was align it up, make it square. So let me kind of show you what that was like. All right, might be kind of hard to see. I got this junk sitting in front of my car in the garage here, but out here on the front, you want this to be, the hood to be out and line up with the fender, right, on both sides. So this side right here, it's still kind of low, but I got to adjust the little support on the radiator support there. There's a little bumper stop thing. I got to adjust that up still. But if you look down the car, you want the hood to be, sometimes it can be like twisted this way or out too far or back. So those bolts that are actually on the hood hinge on the top part that hold the hood to the hinge, you can just loosen those on one side at a time and kind of slide the hood up or down on those. So you just kind of have to like mess with those a little bit till you get the car to, or the hood to somewhat square up. You want your body lines to be even as possible. So mine was a little bit crooked, so I kind of adjusted that too after I got the rear of the hood to line up right. And my cowl panel, I have to get some shims and stuff. That's not bolted on right either, but I'll get that lined up at some point. So, but hopefully that helps someone if you're trying to line your hood. Or, my buddy has a Chevelle and he said it was kind of doing the same thing, like his hood was sticking up too much on one side, not the other. So maybe he can just adjust that out with his hinge in the same way. These hinges do kind of go bad and get worn out though, so that could be a possibility on yours still. But anyways, hope this helps. Catch you guys later.